Well, greetings and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to all the students, faculty, staff, and trustees who are here or attending online. As always, let's take this moment to acknowledge the land Roosevelt inhabits. We begin today by acknowledging that the land we gather on is the traditional, unceded territory of the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. We honor with gratitude this land and the indigenous people who have stewarded it throughout the generations. Thank you for taking the time to attend the 2023 State of the University. There's a lot to share with you today, including presenting the 2023 Presidential Awards for Social Justice to those who exemplify the best of the Roosevelt community. Right now, I want to officially introduce 3 new public trustees and the faculty and student trustees who have recently joined our board. Sarah Guernsey, Jaime DePaulo, Tom Hyatt, Dr. Regina Bucola, and Olivia Vandeven. There's more. Ms. Guernsey is Deputy Director and Senior Vice President for Curatorial Affairs at the Art Institute of Chicago. She brings over 20 years of cultural leadership experience to the board. Ms. Guernsey is also very engaged in advisory board work, including Roosevelt's Women's Leadership Council. We also welcomed Mr. DePaulo, who is both a civic and business leader, serving as President and CEO of the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Under his leadership, the IHCC team intensified their commitment to assist the Latino businesses and has more than tripled the financial resources they provided to the small business community, totaling $88 million in just 2019. And earlier this month, we'll welcome Mr. Hyatt, principal in the law practice of Tom Hyatt PLLC, and in the governance practice, Tom Hyatt Governance Strategies. His legal practice focuses on corporate, nonprofit, and tax-exempt organizations. And Mr. Hyatt is widely known for work on behalf of nonprofit public and private healthcare providers. Dr. Bucola is the chair of the Humanities Department and professor of English at Roosevelt University, where she also serves as Director of Literature and Languages and core faculty, and she's a core faculty in Women's and Gender Studies. Olivia Vandeven is a junior from Northern Michigan University, majoring in International Studies, and is the Vice President of the Planned Parent Generation Action Organization branch at Roosevelt. In addition to the new trustees, we also have Ed Zuger, our new Assistant Provost for International Programs, who started earlier this month. So let's give all of them a warm welcome. Now, this is my 80th State of the 8th State of the University address. And I always look forward to this day on the calendar. It's a day to celebrate successes and recognize the remarkable contributions of our students, faculty, and staff. It's a day to reflect on the progress we're making and the possibilities and the challenges of the future. Meeting challenges is an old theme for Roosevelt, which is now 78 years young. We have always taken brave stands, made bold moves, and stepped forthrightly into the future. We've been guided by our principles and focused on those who serve, whom we serve, the often underserved. Uncertainty has never held us back, because we've been certain that our mission is just, Today we stand in a room named in honor of one of the country's leading social justice activists, I.W. Wells, who dedicated her life to the struggle for civil rights and equality for African Americans. And if you think about it, our sense of purpose has sustained us through over 7 decades of difficulties. We have prevailed through civil wars, cold wars, heart wars, rampant discrimination and systemic injustice, political violence, recession and inflationary times, energy crisis, climate crisis, acts of terrorism, disruptive technological revolutions, and education funding upheaval, just to name a few. Through it all, Roosevelt has answered the call. The people in this room and so many before us share something in common. We rise when we're needed most. There are many words to describe our community: passionate, steadfast, committed, optimistic, resolute. The word that sticks with me is resolute. We stand firm in tough times. We don't ignore or wish away problems. We see them for what they are, and then we dig deep and move with conviction toward solutions. We are resolute because that's our legacy. We owe it to those who came before us and those whose futures depend on us to bring our best. And that is what we celebrate today, the many people who are bringing their best to secure the future of Roosevelt. We'll begin with the Presidential Awards for Social Justice, share advances in our honors program, update you on our recent successes internationally and how the university and Roosevelt brand is being elevated abroad, update you on the work of the Enrollment, Marketing, and Retention Working Group, hear about how Roosevelt is elevating the communities in which we work through exceptional alumni and fundraising campaigns that impact our students. And you'll hear about Roosevelt's climb to NCAA Division II status in athletics. I'm grateful to everyone here for your unending commitment to Roosevelt University. So to get us started on a high note, it's my pleasure to present our Social Justice Award winners. The Presidential Award for Social Justice recognizes faculty, students, and staff members who have gone above and beyond in their work. It honors those who have exemplified their ongoing commitment to and demonstration of social justice within the classroom, workplace, and community. Today, we celebrate the leadership and accomplishments of the following award recipients for serving as advocates for change. Our first award recipient will be announced by Oscar Hugh, a BFA musical student studying in the Chicago College of Performing Arts, and Amy Kim, who's pursuing her BFA in musical theater, also in the Chicago College of Performing Arts. Oscar and Amy.
Hi, everyone. It is an honor to be here today to present the Presidential Award for Social Justice to Emily Weber, a senior in the Chicago College of Performing Arts studying musical theater with a dance concentration. Emily has been extremely vocal about giving students of color in the Theater Conservatory a voice. She restarted the Color Me project in 2021 during the height of the pandemic. Color Me is a yearly cabaret where students of color in the Theater Conservatory come together to tell stories that aren't normally presented on stage at Roosevelt. Emily provided a safe space where students of color could share their experiences and tell their stories. She produced, applied for grants, and motivated students to get involved. Her work with Color Me has allowed for more collaboration between the Music and Theater Conservatory, creating a more inclusive environment in CCPA.
I got to work with Emily closely in leading Color Me for the past 3 years, and Color Me is beyond just a show. Emily also got artists of color in the city to lead masterclasses with participants, And through Color Me, Emily has developed a community with students and alumni of color at CCPA, creating an environment where these students feel supported and heard. Emily's passion and initiative brought students of color closer in the Theater Conservatory and created deeper connections between students and alumni. I'm so excited to see what she does after graduating, and I do feel she's one to watch as a trailblazer who will open new opportunities for the next generation of artists of color. Emily Weber, will you please step up to the podium to receive your award?
This is the certificate that goes with it. Are you going to stand here and take a picture, all of us? All right. Here we go. All right. Congratulations. To announce the second award, I would like to welcome Professor Daniel Healy, Associate Teaching Professor and Program Director for Music Education.
Thank you, Ali. I am honored to present the next Presidential Award for Social Justice to Laya Pozo-Burrell, a Chicago College of Performing Arts student studying music education. Aside from attending to her schoolwork and working multiple jobs to pay for her education, Laya has found the time to serve as the Student Government Association Treasurer and has used CCPA Social Justice Seed Grant funding to start a music program at Lydia Home, a center that provides foster care and many other necessary services to children and adolescents. Foster care children and adolescents are often not privy to the same opportunities for education and artistic expression as others. Laya has worked hard for this project, and I think it is an incredible boon for the children and adolescents in that community. Her initiative is especially near and dear to my heart because it started as a letter of intent project in my arts education and community engagement class. So a wonderful example of student follow-through on that particular project. Laya Pozo-Burrell, will you please come to the stage to accept your award?
Congratulations. Picture. Thank you. Congratulations. The boxes for those, Laya. And to announce our last award, I would like to welcome Dr. Heather Dalmich, Professor of Sociology and Director of the Mansfield Institute. Heather.
Hi, everybody. I'm honored to be here to present this award to 3 students, Sophia Gallo, Kiara Carpenter, and Kayla Nelson. This was a team of students that collaboratively worked together in Dr. Bryson's class, Sustainability 350, Service and Sustainability, and they basically did the groundwork to create our upcoming strategic sustainability plan. This team of students planned and ran workshops, created and analyzed surveys, conducted open meetings, and then gave presentations and elicited ideas, advice, insights from others around the university. The work culminated in a presentation at the Laundy Human Rights Symposium in November of 2022. And now we are moving toward an updated strategic sustainability plan, which will take us through the next 5 years. And it's directed towards and to build in the internationally recognized STARS campus sustainability guidelines, and then incorporate the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals for 2030. So part of the plan now is to reduce our ecological footprint, enhance our curriculum and operations, and and promote the social justice and environmental justice mission of the university. That's all. So Sophia, Kiera, and Kayla, can you come on up? Okay.
All right. Sophia. And the boss. Take the box in a second. Kiara.
I feel like we were well situated in
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
of height. You may not join us, you're
All
too
right.
tall.
Faculty rule, right?
You must be like in the low 5-foot range.
Great, thank you. And your boxes? Thank you so much. Congratulations. We like the students so much, especially you guys who won awards, that the faculty may not want you to graduate. So we'll keep you here another 3-4 years, perhaps? That was a joke. Don't tell everybody that the president threatened us. All right, so congratulations to Sophia, Kira, and Kayla. Thank you. And once again, congratulations to all of our Social Justice Award winners. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Andre Merrick, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Andre?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, President Ali. Greetings, students, faculty, staff, trustees, and all that are here with us today. As I mentioned at last year's State of the University address, in addition to focusing on student success, one of my main areas of focus would be enrollment growth. There are significant areas of opportunity for Roosevelt, and one lies about 31 miles to the northwest at our Schaumburg campus, where we have been exploring building out our health sciences offerings with an array of programs. In Schaumburg, we're also looking into opportunities into the informatics, analytics market by focusing on programs in information technology, cybersecurity, business analytics, health informatics, big data, and computer science. We left AI off, but we'll do that too. The second area of focus is the recruitment of international students, a process that you know is already well underway and bearing fruit. Finally, I'm committed to expanding our relationships with area high schools, community colleges, corporations, and not-for-profits. Even as the number of high school and community college graduates is dropping, we can, with our personal relationships and supports, get more than our fair share if we expand our pipelines and build bridges with our community partners. And once students are enrolled, I am committed, as we all are, to educating the whole student, a truly humanist understanding of Roosevelt University's long tradition. Today, specifically, I'd like to start by sharing updates on our honors program, the new Veterans Center, and our vision for enrollment growth in international markets. Then I'll ask Dr. Melissa Hogan, Dean of the College of Science, Health, and Pharmacy, and Niraj Kumar, Vice President of Information Technology, to provide brief remarks regarding the enrollment, retention, and marketing working groups. The honors program, led by Dr. Marjorie Jollis, Executive Director and Associate Provost for Faculty Development, and Sarah Marie Rudder, Director, is showing promising growth. As we look to fall 2023, we have 18 admitted students who've already deposited and another 87 that have affirmed interest by way of formal opt-in. We're hoping to double the size of our honors program from 25 to 50 new students this fall and have established the Eleanor Roosevelt Honors Scholarship to award to qualified students. Marjorie and Sarah Maria have also established new partnerships with the Chicago Architecture Center, a year-long workshop and city tour focused on tour-focused curriculum module, the STAR Scholarships program with City Colleges of Chicago, the Model Illinois Government Prairie State College pilot, and a resident faculty year-long commitment. The honors program graduates many outstanding student scholars, such as Ontea Zachary, who will be graduating in the spring with a social justice studies major and a political science minor. Ontea was a transfer student who became a McNair Scholar, Newberry Undergraduate Scholar, Joan Deutsch Herzig Scholar, Honors Program Assistant, a panel participant at the American Dream Conference, and the list goes on. Ontea's thesis is on the nature of reparations for Black Americans, and she has graduate school acceptances at the University of Minnesota and American University. Not too shabby, huh? Mia Moore is graduating this spring as well with a degree in history and a minor in sociology and social justice studies. Mia is a McNair Scholar, Joan Deutsch Herzig Scholar, Honors Program Assistant, Honors Exchange Principal Research Assistant, Mansfield Fellow for Activism, History Tutor in the Learning Commons, and completed a competitive summer research opportunity program at the University of Maryland in 2022. She'll complete her honors thesis this fall and be applying to graduate school. That's a pretty incredible resume for these two, right? So let's give it up for Ontea and Mia. Earlier this year, we announced that the U.S. Department of Education awarded Roosevelt University a 3-year grant to establish the Roosevelt University Center of Excellence for Veteran Student Success. The funding, $527,000 over 3 years, will support the academic, financial, physical, and social needs of our veteran students by coordinating services on campus and within the Chicago area. The center is led by Kevin Smith, Director of Veteran and Military Services. Roosevelt has long worked diligently to serve these unique students. As a school with established social justice mission, Roosevelt is recognized as a Principles of Excellence school by the Department of Defense, Education, and Veterans Affairs, along with the U.S. Department of Education for its commitment for supporting veteran and military-connected students. This spring, the center will host the Veterans Higher Education Affinity Group quarterly meeting, which is comprised of veteran leaders from all Chicago area universities. The center will also host its first annual salute and courting ceremony, honoring all veteran and family members graduating this spring. Also, as part of the 3-year enrollment growth strategy, a key area of focus is international recruitment. To support this initiative, as President Ali mentioned, we've recently hired Ed Zuger, Assistant Provost for International Programs. There you are, Ed. And promoted Ken Granley to Director of International Students and Global Scholar Services. And there you are, Ken. Welcome back from India. These two positions, along with continued recruitment support and enrollment management, will help us expand our program offerings and better service this student population. And now, I'd like to turn your attention to the screen to see how Roosevelt is making our big world smaller for international students.
Hi, I'm Ken Granley, the Director for International Students and Global Scholar Services. I work with all of the international students here, some of the onboarding, a little bit of the recruitment as well, but mainly with the current international students. So helping them get used to life in the US, answering any questions about their student visas, all those sorts of things. Well, international students will ask any question imaginable, but something that I get asked quite often is if they will get a chance to interact with the regular domestic students here. Some of the international students come to us thinking that they're only going to be taking classes with other international students, but that's actually not the case. We really want to make sure that international students are getting acclimated and put into the pool of the rest of our regular students, getting the full US college experience. We do have plenty of support for international students, but we want to treat them almost the same as everyone else, just so that they get that same experience. One of the biggest questions that I get from international students about Chicago itself is if they can actually get around very easily, and if they'll have trouble, getting to school, getting to the university from the airport, finding housing. And they're usually very surprised with my answers, including the fact that you can take either the blue or orange line to the major airports, and you can live right above where you're going to class. The most gratifying thing is when a student that I've worked with, whether they've had some regular issues or some unique challenges, comes to my office just to share some exciting news that they have, or just to check in and tell me that things are going well. That's the most gratifying part of this job, is when I do enjoy working on all of the problems that arise, but I love seeing my students just enjoying their time in Chicago and succeeding in their classes. The thing I tell my students all the time is don't be afraid to ask questions and ask for help. A lot of international students come from cultures where they are taught to be extremely self-sufficient, and we definitely want those students to leave here with the ability to do everything on their own, but they're only going to get there if they rely on all of the support that the university has to offer from start to finish, including at the application stage. They don't need to just send us things without asking questions at all. There's a lot of information we have to share with international students and their families. I always want to make sure that any questions they have don't go unanswered.
Hopefully, many of you are aware of the enrollment successes we are seeing. It's early, but this past spring, international applications tripled and enrollment more than doubled. And for fall 2023, international applications have more than tripled, and admits are up from 46 to 649 year over year. Where are these students coming from? So far, most of the undergraduate and graduate applications are from India, followed by Nigeria and Pakistan. The programs generating the most interest are computer science, cybersecurity, business, and STEM programs such as biotechnology. So let's give a hand to everyone that's driving this success in a very difficult enrollment climate. And here's the good point. Things will get better. With new partnerships in place with Kimyo International University in Uzbekistan and GEMS B School in Bangalore, India, I expect to see new students from these two universities starting this fall. And lastly, on the domestic front, we continue to see positive enrollment indicators for fall 2023, with first-time application and admits up more than double from last year. Transfer application and admits are running well ahead of last year, and graduate applications and admits are up as well. More enrollment updates will be shared with you tomorrow during the University Senate. The last area I'd like to provide is around ongoing work in enrollment, marketing, and retention working groups, otherwise known as the EMR. The 10 subcommittees have been underway with regular meetings and progress reports, along with recommendations that have been shared with the steering committee. While I'd like to share updates on all 10 subcommittees, today we'll focus on two specifically, the Institutional Effectiveness and Schomburg committees. Let's welcome Neeraj Kumar, co-chair of the Institutional Effectiveness Committee, and Dr. Melissa Hogan, co-chair of the Schomburg Committee, to come up and provide a report.
Thank you, Andre. Good afternoon, everyone. Dean Cami McBride and I co-chair this committee, which was formed to help us deliver a better learning experience for students and a better professional experience for faculty and staff. Our committee of 31 includes students, faculty, and staff, and an occasional subject matter expert as needed. While we're working on dozens of issues, today I'll just update you on a handful of high-impact topics. The first is online teaching and learning. So this group is focusing on understanding and improving the online teaching and learning environment at Roosevelt. While we have not submitted formal recommendations yet, we are leaning towards making online training mandatory for faculty who teach online. For new faculty who may have gone through a similar experience elsewhere, we are creating a separate online micro course for them, which will help them understand specific features on teaching at Roosevelt University. And it'll also include a test out area so they can test out of things that they've already acquired skills elsewhere, and they don't have to go through the entire course here. We're also redesigning the Online Teaching Academy, the OTA as it's formally referred to. And this will incorporate additional elements from research-driven nationally recognized standards like Quality Matters and the Online Learning Consortium. Faculty who have already completed the OTA do not have to go through this again, but they can attend a session that will be dedicated to highlighting the enhancements that we are going to bring. We are also recommending that course reassignments are used for faculty who need to help move programs online. And stipends are restored for individual online course development, not just as an incentive, but as a structured way to keeping online courses current. Those are some initial ideas, but they will help ensure a consistent experience for students who take multiple courses online. On the electronic personnel action forms, or EPAFs as they're commonly referred to as, we're looking at ways automation can improve information flow and workload management. Many universities use EPAFs successfully and very effectively, and we have a presentation lined up with a consultant who has helped several schools implement these successfully. So we're looking forward to that and helping re-envision the use of EPAFs here, especially for student workers. In terms of scheduling improvements, this group is actually starting to meet this Friday, and they will look at course scheduling process between the registrar and the department chairs. So a lot more to come on this topic. Finally, on the student journey topic, one of our groups is looking at identifying and resolving key issues on the student journey. This group was really happy to learn that the issues brought up by the SGA to Senate were in line with what they had been discussing. The 3 topics that they are focused on are communication with students, demystifying financial aid, and improving our physical spaces. A few group members are attending the student town halls now, and SGA representatives have been invited to attend our future meetings. That's just a glimpse of what our committee is considering to make Roosevelt a more compelling for our important stakeholders. Thank you, Melissa.
As Andre mentioned, Dean Kelly Wentz Hunter and I co-chair the Schaumburg EMR Committee, and we're excited about the opportunities for growth in Schaumburg. Our committee challenged itself to innovate, and we've taken a fresh look at everything that can drive improvement, including program expansion, enrollment and transfer processes, community outreach, and facilities optimization. Success starts with Roosevelt rededicating itself to its partnership with the Village of Schaumburg and the surrounding business community, and reimagining what mutual success could look like. Schaumburg is a big, growing, vibrant market. With the right leadership and focus, we can unlock value for area businesses and benefit ourselves. To that end, we are proposing a new role for our Schaumburg campus, the Director of Community Relations and Outreach. This key new leader will be responsible for identifying and developing productive relationships with local leaders and businesses. We have useful space on campus that can be leveraged by local businesses for staff training and development, new business incubation, and conference or meeting space. Beyond the immediate revenue benefit, the expanded traffic on campus will improve Roosevelt's visibility in a high turnover market, so we'll be better positioned to serve the market with our degree programs. With greater visibility in the community and stronger, more relevant programming, we should be able to differentiate ourselves more than we have in the past. I'd like to thank my fellow committee members for their ideas and ingenuity. We are excited to share our final report soon, but I hope you can see why we are bullish about the future in Schaumburg. Thank you, and I'd like to turn this back over to President Ali.
Thank you, Neeraj and Melissa. When I was reading the list of challenges we have faced, I made just one tiny little mistake. Can you remember what it was? The historian says I mentioned the Civil War was one of the challenges we have faced. Obviously, that was a mistake. Civic challenges, yes, was Civil War. So I promise that's the last mistake I will ever make in these forums. My apologies for that. So let's take some time and talk about the important work happening in our advancement department. Fundraising is vital for the university in many ways. Through fundraising, we can offer more scholarships, grow programs, and add to the value of the Roosevelt degree for prospective students while serving and retaining our current students, faculty, and staff. This year, Lakers Day falls on April 20th and features our new RISE Scholarship Fund, which will provide donor-funded scholarships ranging from $500 to $2,000 to first-year students. The fund complements our recent decision to decrease tuition by nearly 40% for first-year students, and it further reduces financial barriers to improve access for prospective students and families. The RISE Scholarship Fund, Recruitment, Inclusion, Success, and Equity, is awarded in combination with federal and state grants, as well as Roosevelt Merit and need-based aid. This RISE scholarship could help make Roosevelt tuition-free for first-year students with the greatest financial need. Now, last year, more than 100 university employees contributed towards the Lakers Day, which raised $140,000. To inspire renewed participation, I will donate $5,000 when 50-plus employees give to this year's Day of Giving. Now, our generous trustees and community partners have also already pledged $40,000 in matching gifts. Of note, the Chicago Fire Football Club will incentivize giving by granting all donors access to $15 tickets for their April 29th game. Now, more information on how you can give and sign up as a giving ambassador can be found online at lakersday.roosevelt.edu and will be sent to all faculty and staff very soon. Now, this year's long-standing commitment to community engagement has continued, and we forged new partnerships to drive advocacy on important social issues. In December, the Women's Leadership Council hosted its annual luncheon featuring YMCA of Metropolitan Chicago President and CEO Dory McWhorter, who spoke of how women and their allies can be advocates for change in their communities and workplaces. On the eve of Holocaust Remembrance Day in late January, Roosevelt's Chicago College of Performing Arts partnered with the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center in Skokie to stage the production of the first act of the opera To Remain, the story of Holocaust survivor Krystyna Zawalska. CCPA graduate students performed the story of a Polish resistance fighter who concealed her Jewish identity after being imprisoned in Auschwitz-Birkenau in 1943. There she worked to inspire fellow prisoners with her writing as she carried out the harrowing job of cataloging the personal effects of thousands of prisoners facing certain death. While the play was set 80 years ago, the message remains relevant, particularly with the resurgence of anti-Semitic rhetoric on many college campuses. The students viewed the performance as a means to confront modern topics and the intersectionality of identity. And one of our graduate student performers, Tanya Landau, found that she was able to personally identify with the piece, sharing that, I quote, "I had agency as a student, actor, and musician to collaborate with my colleagues directly and confront how many Russian Jewish background informs my performance. I was able to develop both a strong performance and an emotionally engaging entry into the material," end quote. We look forward to more opportunities to collaborate with area organizations to produce important work that advances the conversation on social justice. And upcoming next week, on March 23rd, In honor of Women's History Month, Roosevelt's Women's Leadership Council is hosting its inaugural Special Topics Symposium. The symposium on women's health equity will feature a panel discussion moderated by Dr. Sadhana Jackson, equity advocate and principal investigator at the National Institute of Health. The panel convenes health experts and equity advocates with the goal to educate and empower individuals to increase health equity and access for female-identifying individuals. By bringing together leaders from NIH, Planned Parenthood of Illinois, Women Employed, and Roosevelt University, we will advance the conversation about the physical, mental, and socioeconomic determinants of health for women, recognizing that women's health is a key driver of healthy communities, families, and workplaces. All Roosevelt community members are welcome to attend. So let me now introduce Mike Cassidy, Vice President of Athletic and Student Athlete Success, who's happy to provide updates about our journey to NCAA Division II and other notable student athlete accomplishments this past year. Mike?
Good afternoon. Change. That word has become common within the Roosevelt Athletic Department and is reflective of the innovative and bold initiatives taking place across the institution. Change can be hard. This is why I am so appreciative of our over 500 student athletes, coaches, and administrative staff who have been open to and embraced new ways of doing things. And perhaps the biggest change is ahead of us as we finalized and submitted our application for NCAA Division II membership in late January. This application provided us the opportunity to review and reset all of our processes and workflows to be in alignment with NCAA policies. It gave us the focusing event to enact changes to solidify our commitment to student success in the classroom, community, and competition. It helps us reaffirm to our community what it means to be a Roosevelt Laker. First and foremost, academic success is our top priority. Winning in our athletic department is the retention and graduation of our students, with each feeling well prepared to take the next step in a professional pathway. Being a Roosevelt Laker means embracing responsibilities. Student athletes must represent the institution, the athletic department, and their team in a more robust way. Our student athletes should have pride in wearing a Roosevelt Laker uniform and the responsibility that comes with wearing it. That responsibility travels where the student travels. Travels in the classroom, to practice, and in competition, even when those travels mean they return to their hometown communities. Finally, to our student athletes, we say it's about challenging yourself to be your best in the classroom, in practice, and in competition, as well as members of the Roosevelt community. We tell our student athletes not to put limitations on what you can achieve, while understanding that with challenge can come setbacks and failure. But don't let these moments deter you. Instead, ask for help. Find a solution, and perhaps change. An example of this has been our men's basketball team under the leadership of first-year head coach Dee Brown. This year, Coach Brown has guided an exercise in change management. His energy, understanding, and unwavering commitment resulted in a team that exemplified what it means to be a Roosevelt Laker. They were dedicated to academic success, with a team grade point average above a 3.0 for the fall term. They proudly represented Roosevelt on and off the court, and their conduct elicited numerous positive stories in our local media. This commitment paid off academically and competitively, with 3 student athletes, graduate student Maurice Commander, senior Yuri Swinford, and freshman Julio Montes earning all Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference honors. But just don't take my word for it. Here's what Coach Brown had to say about his players and his goals for the Roosevelt men's basketball program.
First thing I wanted to say when I came to Roosevelt is culture. Everybody talk about it, put signs on the wall and talk about what they're about, but you actually gotta be about action, create the academic culture where guys knew I was serious about academics. They knew I was serious about not missing class, not missing study hall hours, really being studious, of knowing your professors, getting good grades. Good grades are cool. I think, people don't really understand that until those grades come out and we're not at the top of our game with our GPAs, with our attendance. With professors sending us really good emails about how good our guys are in their classes. So creating an academic culture was big for me. If you're a student and you're in the city, you come to the city of Chicago, you're from the city of Chicago, you come from tough upbringings with the cold weather, with academics being as strong as they are today. When people go to a place where they talk about academics and they talk about a process, getting a bachelor's, getting your master's, that's a process. You got to stick it out, even through the tough courses, through the tough days. You don't want to get up and go to class in the cold, the tough days of taking those finals and doing those essays and those papers. I just think there's a certain type of grit and toughness that you got to have to get through that process. As far as the athletics, you got to do both. And people don't really realize that. You got to do study hall, you got to come to weights, you got to come to practice. In our program, we don't miss practice, we don't miss games, so you're not going to miss class. So the days you don't want to do it, you got to get up, be gritty, show some toughness, go complete all your assignments, don't miss no study hall hours, come to work out with us for 2 hours, and we expect you to do that at a high level all year round. So it has to be some toughness coming here in Chicago, and that's what we built on, coming from this tough city that we live in. The biggest thing about Chicago, and I keep saying Chicago because Roosevelt is located in the prime location of Chicago. Roosevelt surprised me when I came and took my visit of the facilities, the academic institution, walking out and being on Michigan Avenue, coming over here to the Goodman Center. I just think that everybody I brought on campus and I took on a visit, the Roosevelt sold itself. Man, I didn't know it was this beautiful. I didn't know it was right here. Man, this is awesome. Great reviews, and for me, that's what drove me to come to Roosevelt, just the people, the academics, the great athletic facilities. I would just say that if you're looking to stay home, if you're looking to be in the city, if you're looking to come get a great education, please take a visit to Roosevelt because it will surprise you how beautiful it is, how the people treat you. And again, we're building something really special here in the city of Chicago, and we're gonna keep building this thing in the right way.
Congratulations to Coach Brown and the men's basketball team, but the truth is that all of our 20-plus teams and programs have taken great strides this year with academic excellence and an openness to the changes that are elevating Roosevelt athletics overall. Here are some other exciting highlights of the 2022-23 athletic season. 18 fall sports student athletes earned Daktronics NAIA Scholar Athlete recognition for their success balancing their athletic commitments with a minimum 3.5 GPA and sophomore level academic standing. Women's basketball junior Jayla Turshin earned all CCAC second team honors. Our football team ranked in the NAIA top 25 during the season, with senior Xavier Barnes earning AFCA All-America honors while he joined 14 teammates in receiving all conference accolades. Women's soccer student athletes Megan Smith and Mackenzie Alvarez earned spots on the All-CCAC second team. Men's soccer advanced to the semifinals of the conference tournament and had two student athletes, Gerardo Flores and Alan Rubio, earn all-league accolades. Men's golf sophomore Alvaro Pardo Gutierrez continued his team's run of success on the course as it looks for its third consecutive conference title as he won the CCAC Fall Preview Cup. Junior Christian Martinez recently took home second place at the 2023 CCAC Indoor Track and Field Championships in the 3,000-meter race walk. Our men's hockey student athlete, Max Finner, was selected by the American Club Hockey Association to represent Team USA in the World Cup of University Hockey this spring in Romania. And the baseball team enjoyed a program first with a 4-game series win over an NCAA Division I opponent, besting Alcorn State earlier this month. Let's applaud these wonderful achievements. The foundation for today's success has been laid over 13 years of hard work by our student athletes, coaches, and staff. Our future is as bright as ever. That future includes a visit from the NCAA's membership committee on April 27th, and, fingers crossed, a positive phone call on July 13th. I couldn't imagine a greater time to be a Roosevelt Laker. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that discussion that day. Before I go on, I want to also recognize the trustee I mentioned and introduced to you at the beginning, Trustee Sarah Guernsey, who has joined us. Sarah, if you stand up, please. Thank you for being here today. First, thank you all again for joining us, and for those of you who are joining us remotely. It is important to recognize our successes together and to share what we're doing to build on those successes. As you can see across the university, our people are working diligently and resolutely. We're grateful for their commitment, and we're confident in the moves they are making. Second, my many thanks to our speakers today and also the staff of the university that prepared this whole program for today. Would everyone who has something to do with today's proceedings please stand up and be recognized? And Mark didn't stand up. Mark? Yeah, the technology breaks down without Mark. We know that. Okay. And as for me, I've never been more honored to be the ambassador for this university, which is, to me, one of a kind, a non-conforming outlier who stands tallest when it matters the most. We are standing tall today, unfazed and undaunted, excited for our future and ready for whatever tomorrow may bring. We are resolute because that's our legacy. So thank you, and now I'm happy to answer some questions. Those participating virtually can drop questions into the comment section, and those in the room can go to the microphones so that everybody can hear you. There are no questions. Yes, please.
So it's great news to hear about the enrollment trends and what we're trying to plan on for fall. What are some of the specific challenges that you would like us to prepare for? I'm thinking in the classroom specifically, with a larger international base, along those lines.
Yeah, Jennifer, and great question. We need to be ready for fall. You have heard me say this new phrase that I have coined, that enrollment is scary good at this moment. We don't know what's going to transpire. Today, Chronicle Higher Education, New York Times, all of them had articles about enrollments. Admissions and enrollments and applications are going up across the nation by somewhere between 20 and 30%. But ours has gone up by 100%. Okay? And we have now admitted 2,600 more students than we had at this time last year. And for international, the provost mentioned some of those numbers. We are 680 plus additional students admitted, international students, than we had last year at this time as of Monday. And those numbers will continue as we go forward. So part of it, yes, we have cut back on faculty, on the staff, on everything we do. And now this wave is coming. We need to get prepared for that with caution. Okay? With caution, because we really don't know how many visas will be issued by the U.S. consulate and embassies across the world, and how many students actually make it here, and the domestic students as well. However, we know those who come to campus, chances of them signing up and showing up are dramatically higher than anybody else. So the latest numbers that Nicole gave me was that we have 361 students signed up for the admitted student day, with about 540 of their family members. So over 900 people are coming here in a couple of weeks. And we will welcome them, we'll have programs for them, they'll talk to all of you, faculty, staff, look at their dorms, and give them a chance to stick their names on the doors. And I'm sure Corey will accommodate that somehow to make sure they get the dorm rooms they want. But once they see where we live, what we do, and who we are, it is very hard to go to other universities. So, the long answer to your question is we're going to be very cautious moving forward, but chances are we'll be ramping up big time come this summer. That's what I'm hoping for, Jennifer. Okay? Other questions? No? Okay. I can be quiet for a few minutes. Now, let me also mention that if your time allows, please stay and join the 2023 Mansfield Lecture, which immediately follows here in the IWE Wells Lounge, as well as on Zoom. Sylvia Vasquez Lavado, humanitarian, explorer, founder, and CEO of Courageous Girls, will speak about her lived experiences that led to her social justice work, an amazing pursuit. Of course, Dr. Dalmage is the host for that, and we have amazing, amazing talk coming up with some book signing as well. So I encourage you to stay for that. Any other final questions before we close the session down? Yes. Jennifer.
Could you just speak for a moment about face-to-face and online education? We've been for a few years balancing both, and so I'm just wondering if you could say something about what you see as the trends in the future. Maybe there's a difference between grad and undergrad with face-to-face and online. Anything you see as future trends in modality?
Yeah, and we did a survey of the students, current students, and you can guess. The first-year students said, I want to have more face-to-face. Get to know everybody, get to know the university, and so forth. A little bit fewer sophomores said that. That, some of the services, some of the programs, more of the classes should be online. You go to the junior year, you can see the trend. And with senior year, I'll do it all online, and I know how to manage that. And occasionally, I want to come face-to-face. So that's an overall trend, and it kind of makes sense for everybody. Everybody, as a freshman, first-year students, you want to get a sense of community and then form your own friendships with the faculty, with other students, with the staff, and then use those in the next few years. Now, the dichotomy between online and face-to-face, that has changed. 10 years ago, wow, you couldn't even talk about online classes. Now, most of you are comfortable with that, okay? It's not a perfect substitute, but we have data, national data, that in some cases actually online is working slightly better than face-to-face. It depends on the faculty, of course. We know that. It always depends on the faculty in front of the students and so forth. The challenging part is when we have students online and in the classroom simultaneously. That is very, very hard to manage for the faculty, obviously so, because as I'm talking to you, I have to also watch the Zoom and answer questions and be cognizant of that. So that's a hard part in this process. Now, I will tell you that for especially graduate students, more online is making more sense because it's the convenience of allowing them to manage their work, manage their families, and pursue their education. And they usually take 1 or 2 classes online, and then some hybrid to come to class occasionally. For international, we'll do that. We have probably 1 class online and 2 classes for our graduate students. That would be hybrid, something that we've been talking about. But it really depends. And within the colleges, please think about what is the best way to manage that process, so that again, convenience counts, but it has to be quality education at the end of that convenience. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Well, thank you everyone for coming.